Hello everyone and welcome back to this series again. In this series we are talking about the ASP.NET Core clean architecture, and we are creating the APIs by using the cqrs pattern. For cqrs we are using the MediatR library and it is very popular in .NET world. Now there is one feature that is available in this MediatR library, and along with the sender concept, so we always create some commands and the queries and we work on that concept. But there is one more feature in this MediatR library that we must use, and that concept is the notifications. So if you are working in your application and you need to trigger some kind of notifications, then we will learn how to do that in this video. So this notification will help you to work on the domain driven design pattern also. Before implementing this notifications pattern in our ASP.NET Core application, first let's understand what this concept is. So for example, we are working on an application and there are few items that we are doing over there. First is, let's say I'm creating a new user. After creating the user, I'm sending a confirmation email. And let's understand that there is a concept of membership in my website. And this concept is similar to what we have in our Netflix, YouTube and other part, where you can buy the membership maybe per month or per year based on some amount. So in my website, let's say I want to start this membership also. Then at the end I want to send the details of this logged in user or maybe this new user to my maybe some support team or some other team, so that they can talk to that user in person or maybe over the call and do some other stuff. So basically there are these 4 to 5 items that I want to do if a user is creating an account on the website. And if you are not using the notifications concept, then how we will do all these things? So basically we will create one method, and from that method we will create first the method to create the new user, then we will send the email, then we will start the membership, and then we will send the details to the other team. So this is how in general we work. But if you are using the notifications concept from the cqrs pattern, then you can segregate your code from each other and there will not be any kind of dependency. The user will create the account, then immediately we will send the confirmation email, we will start the membership, and we will share the information with the sales team like this. Now if we have to work with the events concept, then let's understand how the flow will be if we are using this notifications concept. Okay, so once the user will be created, then immediately we will publish an event, right? And that event will be listened by all these handlers. So on the right hand side you will notice that this send confirmation email, this start membership, for our code these are some handlers, and from that handler we will write the code to send the confirmation email, to start the membership, and to start the sales team. Whatever we will publish, that will be called as event. So there are two items as of now. One is to publish the event, second is an actual event. So in an application there can be more than one event. So for example, here we are talking only about this user creation, but what will happen if there is an event that you want to publish maybe on some other action? Let's say user is deleting his account, so maybe you want to publish another event at that time. So there can be more than one events in your application. Here we are talking about only one single event. So once the user will be created, we will just publish one single event. What are the details in this event? That we will learn in just a bit. So this send confirmation email is the event handler 1, and this start membership is the handler 2, and the third one is the handler 3. There could be some situations that you want to start all of them one by one. So maybe first you want to send the details to the first, then the second, then the third, or you want to send the details to all of them in parallel, right? Because this handler 1 and handler 2, they are independent to each other, right? So in that case we can send this information in parallel to all three of them. Now let's understand, if you are using the MediatR library, how the code will look like. So this is the same diagram that I'm using, but here if you will notice that on this user created concept we need to publish the event, and we can publish this event by using the MediatR library. So I'm using this MediatR.publish. There is a method called publish, and we need to send the information about the event. We need to tell that which event I want to publish. So the event is this user created event. This is my custom event that I have created. And what is this event? So this event is something that I have created over here. How can I create this event? User created event, and if I need to pass some parameters, then I can define all of them over here and then simply inherit it from this I notification. This I notification is coming from that library which is MediatR. So far what we have two things. One is this event. This is how we can create the event, simplest concept. If you are inheriting any class or record from this I notification, it means it will be treated as a notification event. Now we need to publish that event, and this is how we are publishing that. To publish the event, we need to use this publish method, and again it is coming from that MediatR library. So there is one I publication, or we can also use the I MediatR. So both of them will work. We can use any one of them and we can publish the event. Now we have the event and we have published it. What will happen with that event? There will be some handlers and they will listen to that event. So here you will notice that I have created one event handler. This is send email event handler, and this is something that I have inherited from I notification handler, and inside this I notification handler I have passed the name of my event. So this user created event. So this is user created event, and there can be more than one handler for same event. So that is why I have created two more event handlers over here, and all of them are using this user created event. Now just focus on this concept. We can have more than one events in our application, and we can define all of them at one place. Now for each event there can be n number of handlers. So if we need to work on this concept in our application, what we have to create? We have to create the event and we have to create the handler, and from that handler we have to write the logic of that particular concept. So maybe for example, if I talk about this handler, here I have to send the confirmation email, right? So I can write the logic of sending the email inside this handler. So maybe from this handler I can call another service, and where I can send the email. From this one, this is something that will listen to the user created event and it will start the membership. So what we are doing now, these two concepts are not linked to each other, or we would say that these are not tightly coupled to each other. If there is any change in this user created concept, then there is no impact on this handler concept. Wherever you will write your user created concept, you just need to publish the event, and everything is independent to each other. Just publish the event and they will listen the event automatically. Here we are using the clean architecture, and in the clean architecture we are using three very important layers. One is this application, second one is this core or domain, and the third one is this infrastructure. Now we may have one question in mind, that where should we create these events and the event handlers in all these three layers? So it depends on two type of situations. One is that the event that you are trying to work on is application specific or the domain specific. Let's understand what is the difference in both of them. So here I have created a list of some events. This is the application event and this is the domain event, right? If you are not using the clean architecture, then there is no problem. You can create your events and handlers at one place and you can work. But because we are dealing with the clean architecture, right? So we have to focus on where should we create these events. If we are using this application event, for example, we are doing something specific to the application work, which is we are uploading a file, and I need to do something on the uploading of that file. For example, I'm working on a streaming website, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just uploading the file, and based on that I'm getting some different MP3 or MP4 versions from that. So that I can do by using this application event concept. Sending the email, user logged in. If user is logged in, then I want to do something in my application. So these are application specific event. User is logged out. Based on the logged out, I want to track something, maybe when was the last time he logged in or how long he has logged out. So many concepts are there. Once the registration is complete, this is again the application specific concept, background job. So for example, we need to send some maybe birthday reminder or birthday mails to the user. So these kind of concepts are application specific. Let's talk about the domain specific. For example, if an order is placed, right, then at that time I want to do something. Maybe I have to check my inventory. In my inventory I need to maybe inform some other team. So these are the domain specific concept, right? Product out of stock, payment received. So if we are dealing with a website where we are working with the payments, and once the payment is received, then based on that we need to do something. If you will focus on both these events here on this slide, there is a very slight difference, right? These are application events and these are domain events. So you just need to understand the concept of your application, which one is the application for you and which one is the domain event for you. For some applications, for example, this user logged in or user logged out could be a domain event, but in general these are the application event. So basically there is no fixed rule. You have to manage all these concepts based on the requirement need of your application, right? But here I have written these concepts just for the learning. Do not treat them that this is the only way to differentiate in between the application and the domain event, right? So for example, if the account has been deactivated, in that case, if you want to maybe perform some other task, then we can do all these things by using this event. Now, what is the concept? The concept is that if you are working with the application event, then you can define your events in the application layer. But if you are working with the domain events, then you have to define those events in the domain layer. That's the main difference. Now let's understand how can we use these events in our application. Okay, so remember, this is the application that we are using to work on this ASP.NET Core clean architecture, and these are some layers that I have created. Now let's understand that I want to work on and send email notification from this application. So that is again an application level event. So if you are working with the application level event, then you can define your event and the handlers in this application layer. If you are having something domain specific, then you can create your events over here under this core, or if you are having the domain name over here, then you can use the domain. So you can define your events over there, and the implementation will always be in the application layer, right? From that implementation, because that is not having the main implementation logic, that will have only the business logic. So because of that, we will write the handler implementation in the application level. Now let's say I want to work on the send email concept. So although it is an application level event, so what I will do, I will create one event over here in this application. I will write the handler in this application layer, but the actual logic of sending the email, that will be there somewhere in this infrastructure layer, maybe in some service. I will call that service from that event handler that I will create in this application layer, and this is how that will work. But if you are having something domain specific, right, then you can create your events in this core. The implementation will be in the application, right? And from that application implementation, you can call your services from the infrastructure layer. So that is how it will work. But if you will remember that we don't have the instance of the MediatR library in our core application. If you want to work with the domain layer, then you have to install the MediatR library in your core project as well. So in this video, I will be using the application level concept because I have the MediatR library in this application over here, right? So let's create the event and the event handler. If you remember the concept from that screens, we were having three important concepts. One is the event, second is the event handler, and third one is the publish of that event. So let's just create a new folder over here. So I'm going to add a new folder, and the name could be although anything, but here I'm putting event or events. Let's create one event over here. Right click over here, add new item, and maybe user created event. So far this is a very simple class, but we have to make it special, and for that we can inherit it from the iNotification. This iNotification, you can notice that it is coming from this MediatR library over there. We can remove all the namespaces which are not required, and because this is just a model for us, we just need to trigger it. So we can also use the record over here like that. Let's make it public, and we don't need these body. Let's put the semicolon at this place, or we can use this concept for the namespace file level, and there we go, right? Now we are having only this user created event, and this is something that we are using to make it special. Now we have to create the handlers for this event, right? To create the handlers, again I can create one more class. So add new item, and here let's say I'm writing maybe send email event handler. Add it. Now let's make it public first and use the file level namespace. So we have to inherit it from iNotification handler, this one, and in this handler we have to provide the name of our actual event, because there could be more than one event in your application, and there could be more than one event handler. So we have to tell which event handler is for which specific event. So I want to get this event handler for the user created event like this, and there is one method which we have to create over here. So let's just right click, quick actions and refactoring, and implement this interface. You can notice that we are having this handle method, and we can write our logic in this handle method over here. Now you can compare this concept with the commands concept that we have. So if I just expand one of the command, let's say this add employee, remember we are having this command over here, and we are having the handler for that specific command. Similar kind of thing we are doing with the notifications. We are creating one event, and we are creating the handler for that event. So in our case, what is this? We are creating this user created event, just like we have this command, and we are creating this send email event handler, just like this event handler. And over here we are telling that this handler is for this specific command. So again we are also doing the same thing over there, and here we are using the iRequest, but over there we are using the iNotification. Here it is iRequest handler, and over there it is iNotification handler. We are having this handle method over here, and we are also having the handle method over here, right? Now based on the need, we can make it async or we can make it normal. That is up to you. Let's make it async over here, okay, and send email to user. So this is something that I will be having. Let's put a breakpoint at this place, okay. And so let's say I'm having loggers in this application, okay. Let's use the primary constructor. So I'm using this iLogger, and let's define the name. This is we have not used the logging in this layer so far, so that is why we need to install one extra package. Let's just right click and use this quick actions and refactoring, and this is the package that we have to use. So let's just install it. There we go. Let's remove all the unnecessary one, and over here maybe we can create our logger.log information, and let's create one more. So it is saying that user creating, or we don't have any information, so let's just remove all of them. User created, and let's say we are writing send email start, okay. Let's use a similar one for this one too, and here I am writing done. So inside this method, at this place I can write the logic to send the email, or I can call some other service from my infrastructure layer to implement the logic, okay. And here let's just delay it for just a bit. So task dot delay, let's say it is for 2 seconds. So this is one handler that I have created. Now we have done two things. One is I have created the event, I have created the handler for that event. Now I need to publish that event, and to publish that event there could be some situations. So let's say if I'm inside this command, which is add employee command, so one way is that I want to publish that from this command, right? So let's say this is where user, okay, and we are returning the user like this. But now we have to use one interface to publish the events, and first let's just inject it in our this handler class. So what I can do, MediatR, that's the mediator, and by using this maybe mediator dot publish, and we have to trigger the event over here. So what is the name of our event? The event name is, where is that? It is a user created event. Let's use that like this. Remember, this is also again a similar concept that we are having to call our command. So if I go to the API level, so this is my API controller and employee controller. See, this is how we are calling our commands. In the same way we are working with the notifications also, and it is coming from this iSender. To publish our event we are using this publish method, and it is coming from this iMediator. But if I go inside this interface, then you will notice we are having two of them. One is iSender, another one is this iPubliser. So we can also use this iPubliser directly, just like we are doing for our commands. So instead of using this iMediator, let's use this iPubliser, and this will also work. All right, now let's use the await keyword, because that method is the, now the work is done. Okay, let's just save the changes and let's run this application. So for that we have to put some breakpoints. So maybe one breakpoint at this place and another one on the event handler at this place. We already have the breakpoint at this place. Let's just run this application. Our application is running on this port, and we have written the publish event in this add employee method. Okay, so let's just try to create one employee over here. Let's just remove this ID and name maybe test. Let's see what logic we have to create our user. So here if I go inside this add employee, go to implementation, you will notice that we are creating new GUID, we are adding it, we are saving it, and it is working fine. Now let's go back to our Swagger UI, click on this execute button. Let's see what will happen. Here you will notice that the user has been created successfully, and now we are over here at this place, which is the publish event, right? Let's just click on this continue button. Here you can notice that we are having it over here in the handle, and here we can write our logic, right? And it will work. See, this is how we can work with the notifications concept. But let's understand that I'm having more than one handler in this application. Then what will happen? So this is my first handler, which is this send email event handler. Let's get one more handler actually, and this time it is start membership handler. So I'm going to right click, add new item, and this is going to be start membership event handler. Click on this add button, and let's copy this similar code from this place. So maybe like this, go back over here, paste it here, use this name, remove all these things. Now what we are doing, we are having two handlers for the same event. Let's change the message actually, and let's put a breakpoint here also, and let's run this application again. See, I'm not making any change in the publish concept, nowhere. I'm just having one more extra handler, and that extra handler is implementing the same event that we already have. Now what will happen, once the user will be created, then these two tasks will be called automatically. Again, we are in the employee, try it out. Let's send all the information, maybe like this only, string@123.com. click on this send method. You can notice that here we are, the user has been created. Let's continue, and you can notice that first we are over here inside this send email event handler, and it will wait for 2 seconds, and then now we are in our start membership event handler. So from one single place we are doing two things. Now if you want to see the logs also over here, then you can notice that here we are having this user created, send email start, send email done. It is saying membership start and membership done. So this is the default implementation. What we are doing over here, we are calling all the handlers one by one. So although there is a delay of 2 seconds in this send email event handler, so still it is waiting, and once this is done, then we are calling our second handler. There is one more way to handle this situation. What will happen if I want to publish the events in parallel to both the handlers? So for that we have to make some extra changes in our application. So let's open this application layer, and this is the dependency injection class that we are using. Alright, so over here we have to send some extra information. So in that configuration, if I write it like this, so this is the cfg dot notification publisher, and here I'm writing this new, and this is the for each await publisher. So that's the default one that we are having right now. So if I right click over here and see what is the implementation, then you will notice, so this implementation is very simple. It is calling all the handlers one by one in the for each loop, right? So we have all the handler executors, basically the handlers, and we are calling all of them in for each loop, right? And this is the default implementation. But if we have to publish the event in the parallel, then we have to use another one. There is one more method over here, which is task when all publisher. So let's just right click on this one and see what is the implementation of this method this time. Here you will notice that here there is no for each loop. We are calling all of them at once. We are using this concept, and because of that we will be able to publish all our events in parallel. So this time I will be using this implementation concept, and let's run this application again. So the application is running, and this is the Swagger UI. Let's get one more user, and here I'm writing this. Click on this execute button. Here we are. This time we are publishing this event. Click on this continue button. You will notice that we are here, and click on this continue button again. You will notice again we are hitting the breakpoint in both of them in parallel, because there is a delay of 2 seconds. That is why it is not waiting for that method execution. We are here in this second handler. Let's click on this continue button, and if you will see the logs also this time, you will notice that first it is saying starting the send mail start, and immediately we are getting this log which is membership start. So it means both of them are called in parallel, right? And then because there is a delay of 2 seconds, so this one is completed, we are having this one, and then we are having the log from this membership done. So this is how you can work with the notifications concept in your application, and I think this is one of the best way to segregate your application logic. And we are just publishing the event, and based on that event we are just having the handler. Now what will happen if you need to send some data also in your events? What will happen in that case? So this is my user created event, and this time let's say that I need the user object maybe. So what I can do, either you can create the entire object over here, or you can have some properties. So in my case, let's say that I want to use the user ID, and that user ID is of GUID type. So that's the user ID, right? So whenever I will publish this event, I will need to send this user ID. Okay, so this is the command that I'm having, and over here this time I have to send the user ID. How can I do that? I have the user ID over here in this user.id. That's it. Now the place where I'm having the handlers, I will get that user ID also. How? So if I go to my event handlers, so this is the start membership, and let's just use the user ID. So this time this notification again is that record type. So by using this notification dot user ID, we can get the user ID, notifications dot user ID, like that. Let's use it in all of them. So I hope you are getting the concept what I'm doing this time over here. This time I am passing some data in my event, so there could be more than one parameters as well, right? Now let's just run this application again. Let's quickly create one more user over here, so try it out, and this time let's just click on this execute button simply without doing anything. There we are having this user ID. So that's the GUID. Remember what is this? D7, and at the end it is 68. Click on this continue button. So what is the user ID we are having? It is again D7 and 68. Continue. What is the user ID that we are having over here? It is again D7 68. Continue. There we go. Now let's see what logs we have on our console application. Here you can notice that we are having the user ID also over here. We are sending the email for this user, we are sending the members, we are starting the membership for this user, and the mail is done for this user ID and for this one. So this is how you can work with the notifications in your application while following the clean architecture. I hope the concept of working with the notifications in the clean architecture is clear to you. If you are having any doubts, any questions, then feel free to ask everything in the comment section below. And if you are loving this course or loving this content, then feel free to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.